Most men spend their lives trying to be chosen, trying to be wanted, trying to be enough. And yet, the harder they try, the less they are respected. This is not because women are cruel, but because attraction does not respond to effort alone. It responds to inner stability. What you are about to hear are not romantic fantasies, and not advice you will find in dating manuals. These are truths learned through silence, loss, and distance. Truths men usually discover too late. After respect is gone. After desire fades. After love becomes fragile. Stoic love is not about pleasing. It is not about chasing. It is about becoming a man who does not need to convince anyone of his worth. If you are willing to listen slowly, to question what you have been taught, and to stand firm in discomfort, then these truths will change how women see you. And more importantly, they will change how you see yourself. Welcome to the channel, Stoic Love Wisdom. This is where you will find valuable lessons and tips to help you build a truly lasting love. In today's video, we will explore 9 facts women rarely talk about men of strong character, with real stories and insight. Don't miss the advice that can change the way you perceive and live in love. You will definitely feel more comfortable when you find a quiet place and put on your headphones. Let yourself relax and be ready to receive the positive messages in today's video. Are you ready to start this journey? Let's start together. Truth number 1, women are not drawn to words, they are drawn to calm strength. After years of experience, one thing becomes painfully clear. Women do not fall for what men say. They fall for what men are when they say nothing. A man who constantly explains himself, defends his emotions, or tries to impress with clever words believes attraction is built through effort. It is not. Attraction is built through presence. A stoic man understands this deeply. He does not rush to fill silence. He does not panic when misunderstood. He does not chase validation through endless conversation. And women feel this immediately. Calm is rare. Control is rare. And rarity creates value. When a man remains composed, especially in moments of tension, something shifts in a woman's nervous system. She feels grounded, safe, drawn in. Not because he dominates the room, but because he does not need the room to acknowledge him. Many men talk too much because they fear losing interest. The stoic man stays silent because he knows interest cannot be forced. A woman may not consciously say it, but internally she is asking one question. Can this man hold himself together when life becomes uncomfortable? A man who reacts emotionally, explains excessively, or tries to be understood at all costs answers that question with weakness, even if his intentions are good. Stoicism in love is not emotional suppression. It is emotional mastery. The calm man does not ignore feelings. He observes them, controls them, chooses when, and if, they deserve expression. Women sense this discipline as strength. Think about it. When conflict arises, who appears more powerful? The man who raises his voice, or the man who lowers it? The one who begs to be heard, or the one who knows silence carries weight? Women rarely say this out loud because it sounds uncomfortable, even cruel. But deep down, they are not attracted to emotional chaos. They are attracted to emotional stability. A stoic man does not perform masculinity. He embodies it. He listens without reacting. He responds without anger. He walks away without resentment. And this is what creates attraction without pursuit. Because when a man does not chase attention, attention moves toward him. Calmness signals inner order. Inner order signals leadership. And leadership, not charm, is what women instinctively trust. In the end, words fade. Calm remains. And the man who masters calm never needs to convince a woman of his value. She feels it. Truth number 2, the man who seeks no attention becomes the one women crave. One of the hardest lessons a man learns, usually through pain, is this. The more he seeks attention, the less valuable he becomes. Women rarely say this because it contradicts what many men are taught. Men are told to pursue, to prove, to show effort endlessly. But attraction does not grow from pursuit. It grows from self-sufficiency. A Stoic man does not orbit around a woman's attention. He does not measure his worth by how fast she replies, how often she smiles, or how much reassurance she gives. He already knows who he is. And that changes everything. Attention-seeking behavior signals something dangerous. Inner emptiness. When a man constantly needs validation, he communicates one thing without speaking. I do not feel complete on my own. Women sense this immediately. Not logically, emotionally. A man who is complete within himself does not chase presence. He invites it. He has a life that does not pause when a woman enters it. Purpose. Direction. Inner structure. This creates tension, the healthy kind. Because when a man is not desperate to be seen, a woman begins to look closer. She wonders. She leans in. She feels the pull. Scarcity is not manipulation. It is consequence. A man who values his time becomes valuable. Stoic men understand this deeply. They do not disappear to create mystery. They are simply busy building something meaningful. And meaning is magnetic. Women crave the attention of a man who does not need theirs. Not because he ignores them, but because his attention is selective. When he gives it, it feels earned. This is where many men fail. They believe giving more attention equals more attraction. In reality, it often does the opposite. Overgiving cheapens presence. A Stoic man offers attention like a king offers time. With intention, not urgency. He does not compete for attention. He does not fear losing it. He knows that what chases cannot lead. And leadership is the foundation of desire. Women may never admit this truth openly. But they feel safest, most drawn, and most alive around a man who is not dependent on them to feel whole. Because such a man can choose, not cling. And being chosen is infinitely more powerful than being chased. Truth number 3. True masculine power is self-control, not force. Inexperienced men believe power is loud. Experienced men know power is controlled. A man who cannot control himself will always try to control others. And women sense this long before it becomes visible. Physical strength, dominance, and aggression may intimidate. But they do not inspire trust. Stoic men understand that the greatest battle is internal. Not against the world. Not against women. But against impulse. Anger. Ego. Neediness. The urge to react. Most men fail here. They confuse emotional expression with emotional freedom. They believe being real means unloading every feeling the moment it appears. But mastery is different. A disciplined man feels everything. And chooses what deserves a response. When tension arises, he does not escalate. When disrespected, he does not explode. When challenged, he does not seek revenge. He pauses. And in that pause, power is felt. Women are biologically wired to assess one thing above all else. How does this man behave under pressure? Not when life is easy, but when it resists him. A man who loses control reveals instability. Instability feels dangerous. A man who remains composed communicates safety without speaking. Stoicism in love does not mean coldness. It means restraint. It means knowing that not every emotion deserves expression. And not every reaction deserves action. This is deeply attractive because it signals maturity. A Stoic man does not need to dominate a room. His presence settles it. He does not intimidate. He grounds. He understands that the man who can walk away from conflict is stronger than the man who must win it. Control over self is the highest form of dominance. Women may never articulate this truth clearly, but they feel it in their bodies. They relax around men who are internally ordered. They trust men who are emotionally regulated. They follow men who do not act from impulse. This is why men who shout, threaten, or posture eventually lose respect, even if they appear strong at first. Because force fades, but discipline endures. A Stoic man trains himself daily to observe before reacting, to think before speaking, to choose restraint over ego. And over time, this creates an unshakable presence. Not flashy, not dramatic, but immovable. That is real power. And women do not fall for power that demands attention. They are drawn to power that does not need it. In love, sometimes we don't need too many promises, but just a little understanding and a heart that knows how to listen. It is the experiences, both happy and sad, that help us mature and know how to love more fully. Here, I want to contemplate those things with you, so that each step in the journey of love becomes more clear-headed and peaceful. If you feel that what I share is valuable, please click like to support this video. And if this is your first visit, please click subscribe and turn on the notification bell, so you don't miss the next insightful perspectives on love. I also really want to hear from you. What do you like most about today's story? Leave a comment below, because who knows, your experience might be a great source of encouragement for someone else who is listening. And now, let's continue to explore what's waiting for you. Truth number 4, the man who can walk away earns the deepest respect. One of the most misunderstood forms of strength is the ability to leave. Most men believe staying, fighting, and enduring at all costs proves love. In reality, it often proves fear. Fear of loss. Fear of loneliness. Fear of starting again. A Stoic man understands a harsher truth. What is not reciprocated cannot be negotiated into respect. Women may never openly admit this, but they feel it instinctively. The man who can leave is the man who holds power. Not because he threatens to go, but because he is not afraid to. When a man stays in situations where he is dismissed, disrespected, or taken for granted, he silently teaches others how to treat him. No speech can undo that lesson. A Stoic man does not argue for dignity. He enforces it through action. When boundaries are crossed repeatedly, he does not plead. He does not bargain. He does not dramatize. He withdraws. And that withdrawal carries weight. Women are deeply intuitive. They recognize when a man stays because he chooses to, and when he stays because he has nowhere else to stand. The first creates attraction. The second erodes it. Walking away is not punishment. It is clarity. It says, I value myself enough to leave what devalues me. This is why emotional independence is so unsettling, and so attractive. A man who does not fear loss cannot be controlled by it. He does not cling to relationships that drain him. He does not accept love that requires self-betrayal. And this forces respect. Not always immediately. Often later. Sometimes too late. Women remember the man who left without hatred, without insults, without revenge. Because his silence speaks louder than his presence ever could. He did not need to explain. His departure explained everything. Stoicism teaches that attachment to outcomes is the root of suffering. In love, this lesson is brutal, but freeing. A Stoic man loves fully, but never at the cost of his spine. He understands that desire cannot exist where self-respect is absent. And paradoxically, the moment a man becomes willing to lose a woman is often the moment she truly sees him. Not as someone she controls, but as someone who chooses. Walking away does not guarantee her return, but staying without respect guarantees her indifference. The Stoic man accepts this without bitterness. He does not chase what chooses to leave. He does not beg for what no longer aligns. He turns inward, stands tall, and continues forward. And that quiet strength is what earns the deepest respect a woman can offer, even if she never says it out loud. Truth number 5, a man with principles is more attractive than a man who pleases. Most men believe being liked is the same as being respected. It is not. Pleasing behavior feels warm, agreeable, and safe on the surface. But it rarely creates desire. Respect does. A Stoic man understands that attraction grows where boundaries exist, not where everything is allowed. He does not shape himself to fit someone else's expectations. He does not abandon his values to avoid conflict. He does not say yes when his integrity demands no. And women feel this immediately. A man with principles moves through life with internal structure. His decisions are not emotional reactions, they are reflections of who he is. This creates predictability, and predictability creates trust. People-pleasing, on the other hand, creates confusion. When a man constantly adjusts himself to keep a woman happy, he signals instability. His values shift depending on her mood. His boundaries disappear under pressure. And without boundaries, desire slowly fades. Stoicism teaches that virtue is non-negotiable. In love, this means a man does not trade his self-respect for approval. He understands that love built on self-betrayal will eventually collapse. Women may enjoy being indulged, but they do not trust men who have no center. A man with principles does not argue to be understood. He acts in alignment with his values and allows others to respond accordingly. This creates polarity. When a woman disagrees with a principled man, she may feel frustrated. But she also feels grounded, because she knows where he stands. A Stoic man does not bend to keep peace. He maintains peace by remaining honest. He understands that conflict handled with calm integrity strengthens connection, while avoidance weakens it. Principles create friction, and friction creates depth. A man who always agrees becomes invisible. A man who stands for something becomes memorable. This does not mean rigidity or coldness. Stoicism is not about domination, it is about alignment. A principled man listens. He considers. But he does not surrender himself to be chosen. And paradoxically, this is what makes him choosable. Women may never consciously say, "I am attracted to his principles." But they feel the result. They feel safer, more anchored, more willing to follow. Because a man who governs himself can be trusted not to collapse when life applies pressure. In the end, pleasing behavior creates comfort. But principles create desire. And desire is built on respect. A Stoic man chooses respect over approval every time. Not because he lacks empathy, but because he understands that love without respect cannot last. Truth number 6, how a man handles failure determines how women see him. Failure does not repel women. How a man responds to failure does. Every man will fall. He will lose money, status, direction, confidence, sometimes all at once. What separates boys from men is not avoidance of failure, but the posture they adopt after it arrives. An inexperienced man collapses inward. He complains. He explains. He seeks sympathy to soften the blow to his ego. A Stoic man does something very different. He goes quiet. Not out of shame, but out of focus. He understands that failure is not a verdict on identity, only feedback on approach. Women notice this instantly. When a man reacts to setbacks with bitterness or blame, he reveals fragility. When he externalizes responsibility, he communicates helplessness. Neither creates attraction. Stoicism teaches radical ownership, not self-hatred. Responsibility. A Stoic man does not ask, "Why did this happen to me?" He asks, "What must I become so this does not happen again?" This mindset is deeply grounding. Women feel safest around men who can absorb pressure without crumbling. Not men who always win, but men who recover. A man who loses with dignity signals emotional maturity. He does not dramatize his struggle. He does not turn his pain into performance. He processes privately. He rebuilds deliberately. He returns stronger. This creates respect at a visceral level. Women may never articulate it, but they are constantly evaluating one thing. Can this man handle life when it turns against him? A man who is defined by his failures becomes unpredictable. A man who is forged by them becomes reliable. Reliability is attractive. Stoicism reframes failure as training. Every loss sharpens discipline. Every setback reveals weakness to be corrected. The Stoic man does not rush his comeback. He allows growth to compound quietly. And this patience is rare. Most men announce their plans before they earn results. Stoic men let results speak. When a man can fail without losing his composure, he communicates inner stability. And inner stability is magnetic. Women trust men who do not collapse under pressure. Not because those men are perfect, but because they are grounded. In the end, failure is inevitable. Collapse is optional. A Stoic man understands this. He does not beg for understanding. He earns it through action. And when he rises again, calmer, wiser, more deliberate, women see not a man who fell, but a man who endures. Love is actually like a mirror reflecting the inner self. When we are calm enough, we will realize that every challenge, every silence carries a valuable lesson. And that is what I want to convey through each story on this channel. If you feel that these shares bring value, please leave a like to support the channel. And don't forget to subscribe, because who knows, one day, just a small idea from these videos can change the way you look at love, at yourself. Let's continue with me, because there are many interesting things waiting for you to discover. Truth number 7. The man who does not try to control women is the most confident of all. Insecurity always seeks control. Confidence never does. This is a truth most men learn too late, often after they have already pushed away the very woman they wanted to keep. A man who tries to control a woman believes control creates safety. In reality, it reveals fear. Fear of abandonment. Fear of competition. Fear of not being enough. A Stoic man understands something fundamental. What must be controlled is already lost. He does not monitor, interrogate, or restrict. He does not demand constant reassurance. He does not confuse possession with connection. And women feel the difference immediately. Control signals inner chaos. Trust signals inner order. A man who is secure in himself has no need to cage another human being. He knows that loyalty given freely is the only loyalty that matters. Stoicism teaches self-governance before governance of anything else. A man who cannot rule his own mind will try to rule the world around him. A Stoic man turns inward instead. He asks himself, am I living in a way that inspires respect? Not. How do I prevent her from leaving? This shift is powerful. Women feel safest around men who do not cling. Not because those men are detached, but because they are grounded. A man who does not control gives space. Space creates breathing room. Breathing room creates desire. This does not mean passivity. It means certainty. A Stoic man is clear about his boundaries, values, and expectations. But he does not enforce them through fear. He enforces them through choice. If a woman aligns, he stays. If she does not, he leaves, calmly. No threats. No manipulation. No surveillance disguised as concern. This is confidence in its purest form. Women may not consciously say, I am attracted to men who don't control me. But they relax around them. They open up. They choose them more freely. Because control suffocates desire. Trust nourishes it. A man who does not try to control a woman is saying one thing clearly. I trust myself to walk away if I must. That self-trust is magnetic. Jealousy fades when a man knows his value is not fragile. Anxiety dissolves when he understands that love cannot be forced. Stoicism reminds us that we do not own outcomes, only conduct. A Stoic man loves without gripping, commits without imprisoning, and leads without dominating. And this is why women feel most alive with men who are free. Because freedom is the ultimate proof of strength. Truth number 8, women remember the man who didn't try to keep them. Most men believe that holding on tightly is proof of love. In reality, it is often proof of fear. Fear of emptiness. Fear of replacement. Fear of being forgotten. A Stoic man understands a deeper truth. What belongs with you does not need to be restrained. When a woman chooses to leave, many men react with urgency. They plead. Explain. Promise change in desperation. But desperation leaves a lasting impression. And it is never the one men hope for. The man who tries to keep a woman at all costs teaches her one thing. That his life shrinks without her. The Stoic man does the opposite. He allows departure without punishment. Without resentment. Without theatrics. And that is what makes him unforgettable. Women rarely remember the man who begged. They remember the man who let go with dignity. Because dignity creates contrast. When a man does not collapse at loss, he becomes larger in memory. A Stoic man understands that love is an offering, not a contract. He does not chase what chooses to walk away. He does not weaponize guilt. He does not rewrite history to soothe his ego. He accepts reality as it is. This acceptance is not weakness. It is strength refined by wisdom. Stoicism teaches us that clinging is the source of suffering. In relationships, clinging erodes attraction faster than conflict ever could. The Stoic man chooses composure over possession. When he releases a woman, he does not disappear to manipulate. He continues his life as it was. With purpose, structure, and direction. And this continuity is what leaves an imprint. Women feel the absence of men who remain whole without them. Because such men were never dependent. They were aligned. Time has a way of clarifying value. The woman may not return. But she remembers. Not the arguments. Not the tension. She remembers the man who did not beg her to stay. And wonders why his presence still lingers. Because composure at loss communicates confidence. Confidence creates respect. And respect outlives emotion. A Stoic man understands that memory is shaped by final moments. And he chooses to end chapters with integrity. He lets go without closing his heart. But without breaking his spine. And that quiet strength is what makes him unforgettable. Truth number 9, emotional stability is the rarest and most desired masculine trait. In a world of emotional noise, stability is power. Most men believe attraction comes from intensity. Strong feelings, dramatic gestures, emotional highs and lows. But intensity burns fast. Stability endures. A Stoic man understands that emotions are weather. They pass. He does not let temporary feelings dictate permanent behavior. He does not punish others for his moods. He does not outsource his emotional regulation to a woman. And this is what makes him rare. Emotional stability is not emotional absence. It is emotional reliability. Women may enjoy passion, but they trust stability. A man whose mood swings with circumstances creates uncertainty. Uncertainty breeds anxiety. Anxiety erodes attraction. The Stoic man becomes an anchor. When stress rises, he steadies. When conflict appears, he slows the pace. When emotions flare, he does not escalate, he grounds. This nervous system regulation is deeply felt. Women feel safe around men who can hold space without absorbing chaos. Men who do not react impulsively. Men who do not withdraw emotionally as punishment. Stoicism teaches that peace is internal. A Stoic man does not demand emotional management from others. He carries his own weight. This independence is profoundly attractive. A man who is emotionally stable does not need constant reassurance. He does not fear silence. He does not confuse temporary distance with abandonment. He understands that love breathes best when it is not suffocated. Women may never verbalize this clearly. But they gravitate toward men whose presence calms rather than excites anxiety. Because emotional stability signals leadership. Not dominance, direction. A Stoic man's reactions are measured. His words are intentional. His actions are consistent. Consistency builds trust. Trust builds intimacy. Intimacy sustains desire. This is why emotionally volatile men may attract quickly, but are rarely chosen long-term. Stability does not create fireworks. It creates foundations. A Stoic man does not chase emotional highs. He builds emotional ground. And from that ground, everything else rises. In the end, women are not searching for perfection. They are searching for peace. And peace is found. Not in men who feel everything loudly, but in men who hold themselves steadily. That is the final truth. Conclusion. When all illusions fall away, one truth remains. A man's value is not proven by how hard he tries, but by how steadily he stands. The 9 truths you have just heard are not techniques. They are not strategies to win affection. They are reflections of inner order. A Stoic man does not chase desire. He cultivates himself, and desire follows. He understands that calm is stronger than charm. Self-control more powerful than force. Principles more enduring than approval. He knows when to stay. And when to leave. He accepts failure without collapsing. Gives freedom without fear. And releases without bitterness. These are not behaviors learned overnight. They are forged through loss, silence, and self-confrontation. Stoic love is not about emotional distance. It is about emotional leadership. A Stoic man does not suppress emotion. He governs it. He does not ask a woman to complete him. Because he has already learned to stand whole. And this wholeness is felt. Women may never consciously list these traits. They may never say, "This is why I trust him. This is why I feel safe. This is why I stay." But they feel it in their bodies, their nervous systems, their sense of peace. In the end, Stoic love is not about control, attraction, or outcome. It is about integrity. To love without losing yourself. To walk away without hatred. To remain steady while the world shifts. This is the quiet power of the Stoic man. And it is rare. Which is why it is unforgettable. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. Hopefully the sharing about love and lessons from this video will help you have new thoughts and find empathy. If you find the video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel and share with those around you. Each of us has our own stories about love, and I'm happy to explore them with you. See you in the next videos. Wishing you a wonderful day filled with love.